Okay, let's share. All right, Coralla Ficklin McLean. Welcome, WYLCONE.com. We're talking about different past tenses in Spanish versus English, maybe translating, maybe understanding, not maybe, definitely trying to understand. So let's look at some of the definitions, some of the uses. We looked at it. We looked at the imperfect in relationship to the pretérito, in relationship to the preterite. But let's just look at the imperfect on its own without it saying, well, in comparison to this and to that. Now, this part of the imperfect, you're able to translate because it does fit our reality. Although I don't remember learning any tense called the imperfect and learning it as a tense separate from a past. Like you learn the past can eat. I really don't. Now it's been centuries, but as far as I talked, I did talk. I mean, I know what all this means, but I don't really remember learning it, right? And then I used to talk, or I would talk. I would talk has two meanings because would has a number of meanings. Example, if I were you, I would talk to my mother. That's would being the conditional. But if you say, I would visit my mother every day, that is not the conditional. That's it. That's really how the imperfect in Spanish is used. I would visit my mother every day because what you mean is I used to visit my mother every day. So in that respect, would and used to mean the same thing. Now there's sometimes when you can use one, but you can't use the other. But generally speaking, it means the same thing. So it all depends on it all depends on how you use would, whether it's conditional versus imperfect. So when you say I used to, that's one use of the imperfect in Spanish. The Spanish has more than one use though. So here we go. An action, this is the imperfect, an action which happened many times or habitually in the past. The number of times or length of time of the action is not known and it's not important, it's not relevant. It's that it happened habitually or a number of times. For example, estudiaba con Juan muchas veces. I used to study with Juan a lot. Now, what's a lot? That's not important. How long did you study with Juan a lot? That's not important. What's important is that you and Juan used to be study mates. Comía en una cafetería. I used to eat in a cafeteria. You don't anymore. Or I shouldn't say that. The emphasis is not on the fact that you do anymore or that you don't, because if that was the emphasis, it would be preterite, the pretérito. What's important is that on a consistent basis, you would eat in that cafeteria. Notice I said would eat, or you used to eat in that cafeteria. The emphasis on the fact that it was a habitual action. Okay, let me give you some more examples. Me masticaba las uñas. I used to chew my nails, or I don't want to say eat, that's nasty, but I used to chew my nails, right? Tomaba mucha leche de niña. When I was a child, I used to drink a lot of milk. Jugaba con muñecas cuando era niña, or niño, cuando era niño. So I used to play with dolls Or, muñecos would be action figures, right? So muñecas when I was a child. Vivía in Nueva York. I used to live in New York. It's an action in the past that you did habitually, and whether you still do it or not, that's not important. What's important is that you used to do it a lot. Muchas veces, a lot. Okay, I'm gonna make this really short because I wanna look at another meaning of the imperfect. Here it is, okay. But I wanna keep it separate. So once again, we're talking about the imperfect. It has a lot of different meanings, and how you translate it all depends on the context in Spanish to English. Okay, the context tells you. Just like would has a lot of meanings, and the context tells you whether it's would, the imperfect. I would eat in that cafeteria a lot, or I used to eat in that cafeteria a lot, versus would being the conditional. If I had a lot of money, I would buy a house. And that's the conditional. That would is the conditional. Would also has a meaning in English where it's used not for the conditional, it's used to be polite. I can say, do you want a glass of water? Okay, you're my friend, you're my sister, brother, family member. Do you want a glass of water? But if I'm speaking in a much more usted form, a much more polite form, I use would in order to call attention to the fact that I am speaking to you much more formally. Would you like a glass of water? So would depends on the context of what it would mean, or what it means, okay? That's the same thing with the imperfect in Spanish. One of the meanings in the imperfect, we looked at it in comparison to the pretérito. One denotes an action that still may be going on. With a pretérito, the action is finished. Another is that the action have happened frequently, habitually, right? Whether it still happens or not, it's irrelevant. And how many times it happened is irrelevant. That's not what you're emphasizing. In the next video, we're going to look at another reason to use the imperfect. So, Coralla Fickler McLean, welcome, WYLCONE.com. Thank you. If this is helpful, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe. But if you don't, I just hope that this video has been of help. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to say thank you, and have a good day. Bye.